Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for clicking on the video. So today I'm going to run through the differences that I've experienced between a hardtail and a full suspension. Right away, I notice it is way less fatiguing on my body. And that is the number one reason why I got a full suspension. I got the Norco Fluid FSA2 model here, 2024 edition. I wanted a bike that will give me the longevity in the sport. I want to do this sport for as long as I possibly can. I absolutely love it. I'm extremely passionate about it. And to top it off, it's something my son and I do together, and we just have an absolute blast together out in the trails, out on bikes. So I can tell you without a doubt, in my own personal experience with having ridden this now for quite a few rides, that the toll and tax that you pay on your body when riding a hardtail, as opposed to riding this, a full suspension, is completely different. It is like night and day kind of difference. The amount of bashing on my body is way less, like way less. I can feel it after a good ride on this thing that I don't feel beat up anymore. I don't feel like my back is sore. I don't feel like my upper back. I just have more energy after the ride. So that is one thing that I've noticed from riding hardtails for the last 6 years, and for riding this for the last, literally, I've put 14 rides on this, including today. 14 rides total on this, and I noticed huge difference. The other thing that I've noticed about riding a full suspension as opposed to a hardtail, the rear wheel tracking on this bike, the rear wheel does not leave the ground, hardly ever. The shock is really good. Like I said, it's 130 mil of travel. I do have it set up pretty plush. Same with the front fork. Um, so it just goes over bumps, roots, rocks, which our trails here are littered with that stuff. And the tire stays glued to the ground. So that's not just on descending. That's on like faster like flow sections, and it's on climbs. Like the short, punchy, technical climbs. I'm able to climb things with this bike that I've never been able to do with hardtail ever. It's amazing the feeling that you get when the rear wheel does not come off the ground so much. Because on a hardtail, uh, the back here has no suspension, obviously. When you're going through chatter and chunk and riding technical lines, your rear wheel is constantly coming off the ground. It's constantly coming off. No matter, no matter how much you use your natural suspension, your legs, no matter how much PSI you take out of your rear tire, your rear wheel is coming off the ground like this. So what that does is it causes the bike to kind of maneuver in the back and kind of feel less controlled, right? Which is the beauty of riding hardtail. Actually, it's fun. That's what I loved about riding hardtail. However, with this, the rear wheel rarely leaves the ground, so it gives me way more of a controlled feel. It just gives me way more control on the trail. It gives me a stability feeling, like super stable, and just like I pick the line and it's going through there, and there's not much that's going to change. We ride a trail, which I'll post right now as I'm talking, in our local network. It is the best trail in the local network, I think, and it requires a lot of focus. It requires a lot of technical ability, and just it's an absolute blast. It's everything a mountain bike trail should be. This trail, normally, before I ride this trail, I would get like butterfly, like a nervous feeling in my gut. And my son and I rode that trail 4 times in a row. We did 4 laps the other night, and
yeah.
there was no nervous feelings at all. This bike, like
That looks good.
the confidence that this bike gives me, based on the fact that the rear wheel does not come off the ground hardly ever,
Oh, running good.
just amplifies the fun aspect and the confidence aspect of riding a full suspension as opposed to a hardtail. In my humble opinion, it is like night and day difference. That, in my opinion, is where the confidence comes from when riding a full suspension. I always thought, well, how can a suspension make you a more confident rider? Just inspire confidence, right? Make you want to do bigger, better things and ride more aggressively. Well, that's a great segue because that's the next point I wanted to make was this bike makes me want to ride faster. It makes me want to ride harder, way more aggressive than any other hardtail I've ever owned, any other bike I've ever owned. This bike has, I don't know, it's boosted my confidence to the point that I am riding stuff that I wouldn't normally ride, like ever. Didn't even think I could. I'm doing gap jumps. Like they're small, but for me, they're big.
You! Hey! Hey! Oh my gosh!
I got it.
Hey!
First gap ever.
Wow.
I know it's small for some people, but for me, it's big.
Yeah, baby.
I am just having an absolute blast on this thing. I'm doing more this year already with 14 rides in than I did all last year. I'm riding faster already this year than I did all last year. So, yeah, like it does make a difference. The other thing is you can ride a full suspension faster. I know there's a million videos out there that say this, and it's true though. Like I didn't think so, but it is. It's true. You can ride this faster through chunky lines. A full suspension can save your butt, but I really appreciate the fact that I started on a hardtail. I appreciate the fact that I have ridden hardtails only for the last 6 years, and now I'm on my first full suspension, and I feel like I can actually ride this bike and use it for what it's intended for. The other thing I noticed about this bike is cornering. It corners so good. If you feel like when you're in the geo portion of the corner in the berm, it sinks into the travel and it just kind of helps you rail at the berm, rail at the corner. So there's two things actually that I noticed that are a bit of a con with full suspension. One is way less efficient, and two, more weight. So my chromoly steel hardtail was 33.6 pounds. This is about 36 to 37 pounds, and I do notice that weight while climbing, especially. I do notice it for sure. While sprinting, that's when I like getting up to a sprint. That's when I notice the inefficiency of the full suspension bike, where every ounce of power and pressure you put into your cranks on a hardtail, it's going to come out of the bike. But when you every ounce of power and pressure that you put into the cranks on a full suspension, some of it does get absorbed by the rear suspension. So you are pushing harder and using more energy on a full suspension for sure. Um, However, in saying that, on the downhills, what I've noticed is I really like the extra weight. It adds to the stability of the bike. Those are the points that I've noticed that are the biggest differences between riding a hardtail and a full suspension. Again, I will say it's not really comparable because they're two extremely different experiences on a bike. It's all about what you want. It's all about what trails you mostly ride. And you can get more bike for your money with the hardtail. But for me, like I say, just to sum it up, I wanted this bike so that I could continue enjoying mountain biking to its fullest. And it is delivering on that plus, plus, plus. I just love riding it as aggressive as I can. And and this bike is allowing that to happen more than a hardtail, more than what I've experienced on a hardtail. So leave a comment and tell me what you're riding and why you're riding it. I love bikes. I can talk bikes all day. I love reading people's comments. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.